Hey everybody. So, I was looking at Facebook this morning before work. Saw a question that I see reoccur a lot over the course of the last year. A young lady was asking why, in all the tarot readings she's been doing for the last week or so, she had one particular card coming up over and over and over again, and she's talking about readings that she does for other people. She admits that she's just getting started out and she's confused by it, doesn't know what it is, but it's shaking her faith in tarot. Most of the answers that come back every time I see that question asked, and that is that she is projecting something that's going on with her onto the cards, and I would say that for a new reader, that's a definite concern, and I wouldn't discount that answer immediately. I mean, I would take it as a cause for some self-reflection and some personal readings to see whether or not it's possible that that could be the case. However, I do think that there's a lot of other things that it could be. The first thing that I would look at would be something astrological. For example, all the cards have some sort of astrological attribute. For example, the Empress is Venus. I would, if it was the Empress that kept coming up, I would look to see whether or not if Venus is doing something astrological these days that's of such impact that it's influencing an enormous amount of people. A lot of people aren't into astrology, don't know the astrological attributes, and I wouldn't say that in order to avoid situations like this, you have to be an expert on it. But like this week, I'm doing a lot of on my altar. I have the New Era Elemental Tarot deck, and last week I had the Crowley Harris Thoth Tarot deck. Both of those actually have the astrological symbols that are important for each card actually on the card somewhere, and there's a lot of decks like that. So it's not necessarily a matter of having it memorized. You can see that a particular card has to do with, the moon in Capricorn or something, right? And if you don't have one of those decks, you can always Google a card and hit image and look for a copy of the same card from a deck that actually has the astrological symbols on it, and then you can Google what the particular planet or sign or whatever is doing at the moment, and see whether or not it's something that could be affecting a lot of people. Another thing is what's going on in the world. A lot of people I've noticed over the last year from outside of the English-speaking world are becoming very, very interested in tarot. Maybe they have been all forever, but I'm just noticing it. My bad, possibly. But it occurs to me that if you were doing readings for people who are connected somehow to places like India or Brazil, whether they live there or have relatives there or whatever, they could all be showing the same tarot card that this woman was seeing, which involves an emotional state. I would say in that case would be a passive emotional state. The same card that she was looking at could, as a more aggressive, active emotional state, could explain a lot, or could be present in a lot of people who are activists on the far right or the far left, which is a lot of people. So it's worthwhile to know a little bit about what's going on in the world to see whether or not there could be some sort of mass effect. I remember once I knew a young woman who was interested in learning witchcraft, who would often come to me to discuss things that were happening to her and ask what was going on with that. And she hadn't done a whole lot of reading on these subjects yet, and she would come to me and say things like, I'm filled with so much energy today. What does it mean? So much magical energy. What does it mean? Am I making progress? Am I, ready for like some new step? And I said, well, if you pay attention to the world around you, you'll see it's the full moon or the vernal equinox. And yeah, there's a lot of energy out in nature at the moment. So it 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 can help to interpret cards when they do weird things if you sort of have some idea of what's going on in nature and what's going on in the world of men or people. Shouldn't say men, should say people. And I guess that's about it. Some random thoughts for a random day. Now I'm want to sit down and write a science fiction story or a fantasy story in which it starts out that all of the tarot card readers in the world are suddenly getting the same card coming up at the end of the day, and see where that goes. I will catch y'all later. Bye bye.